Elif Shafak was born in Strasbourg, France in 1971. She is an award-winning novelist and the most widely read woman writer in Turkey. Her books have been translated into more than 30 languages. Shafak has published 10 books, 7 of which are novels. She writes in both Turkish and English. Shafak blends Western and Eastern traditions of storytelling, bringing out the multiple stories of mini-stories, immigrants, women subcultures, and global souls. Her work draws on diverse cultures and literature traditions, as well as deep interest in history, philosophy, oral culture, and cultural politics. Shafak's writing breaks down categories, cliches, and cultural ghettos, bringing out the multiple stories of mini-stories, immigrants, women, subcultures, and global souls. She also has a keen eye for black humor, as well as spirituality and Sufism. Shafak's first novel, Pinhan, The Mystic, was awarded the Rumi Prize in 1998, which is given to the best work in mystical literature in Turkey. Her second novel, Şehrin Aynaları, Mirrors of the City, brings together Jewish and Islamic mysticism against a historical setting in the 17th century Mediterranean. Shafak greatly increased her readership with her novel Mahrem, The Gaze, which earned her the Best Novel Turkish Writers Union Prize in 2000. Her next novel in Bit Palace, The Flea Palace, has been a bestseller in Turkey and was shortlisted for the Independent Best Fiction Award. The book was followed by Medcezir, a non-fiction book of essays on gender, sexuality, mental ghettos, and the literature. Shafak wrote her next novel in English. The Saint of Instance was published by Ferrer, Strauss, and Giroux. Her second novel written in English is The Bastard of Istanbul, which was the best-selling book of 2006 in Turkey and was longlisted for the Orange Prize. The novel brought Shafak under prosecution, but the charges were ultimately dismissed. Following the birth of her daughter in 2006, she suffered from postnatal depression, an experience she addresses in her first autobiographical book, Black Milk. In this book, Shafak explored the beauties and difficulties of being a writer and a mother. The book was received with great interest and acclaim by critics and readers alike, being an instant bestseller. Shafak's most recent novel, The 40 Rules of Love, sold more than 5,000 copies, becoming an all-time bestseller in Turkey. In addition to writing fiction, Shafak is also a political scientist, having a graduate from the program in international relations at Middle East Technical University. She holds a master's degree in gender and women's studies and a PhD in political science. Her thesis on Islamic mysticism and the curricular understanding of time was awarded by the Social Sciences Institute. Today, Shafak continues to write for various daily and monthly publications in Turkey. She has been featured in major newspapers and periodicals, and in the Washington Times, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, and The Economist. She also writes lyrics for rock musicians in her country. She lives with her husband and 2 children and divides her time between Istanbul and London. Her quotations about the author. I like to think of my writing as a compass. One leg of this compass is solidity based in Istanbul and the culture I grow up with. In this sense of my fiction, he has solid roots. The other leg of the compass, however, draws a wide circle and travels the whole wide world. My fiction is cosmopolitan and multicultural. Therefore, my writing is both local and universal. In my novels, I travel endlessly in time and space. Through the art of storytelling, we connect to one another. At the core of the literature is the notion of empathy and the desire to build connections. It's all about connections. I can write everywhere and everywhere. I wrote some of my novels at international airports, on trains, in small hotels. Any place could be a workplace for me. Restaurants, cafes, train stations, dormitories, everywhere except a neat and tidy, sturdy and silent bureau. That is the only place I can't write in. They ask me why there are so many visions of supernatural forces in my novels. Because there is a magic in life. That is why. I like to combine the Western techniques of the genre of the novel with Eastern traditions of storytelling. I also like to combine written culture with women's oral culture. This culture is not sufficiently reflected in written culture, which is dominated by men. I like incorporating women's voices into my fiction. Humor is an important element for me, but the kind of humor that I like has compassion, intelligence, and softness. It's a kind of humor that does not look down upon the readers. I write with love, and my characters have so many layers and conflicts. I do not judge them. It's important to have a horizontal relation with them. I do not straight myself above them or above the tasks. I'm not trying to control them, as if they were puppets. I am on equal level with them, as well as with my readers. Just like love, literature shows us the connections. We will live in a world in which the unhappiness of someone in Pakistan can affect the life of someone in Canada. In this world, nobody lives in a vacuum. The sorrow of one person can sadden the entire humanity. The happiness of love, one person can contribute to the joy of all. Literature and art help us to feel connected with the universe. My writing thrives upon journeys. I commute between different cultures and cities, and believe in the power of literature to transit all sorts of mental ghettos and boundaries, be it national, religious, class, or gender boundaries. The ancient art of storytelling brings us together and bridges the gap between us and them. About the 40 Rules of Love book. An American housewife is transformed by an intriguing manuscript about the Sufi mystic poet Rumi. In this lyrical experience follow-up to her acclaimed 2007 novel The Bastards of Istanbul, Elif Shafak unfolds two tempting parallel narratives, one contemporary and the other set in the 13th century, when Rumi encouraged his spiritual mentor, the conversational reeling dervish known as Shams of Tabriz, that together integrate the poet's timeless message of love. Ella Rubinstein is 40 years old and unhappily married when she takes a job as a reader for a literature agent. Her first assignment is to read and report on Sweet Bless Me, a novel written by named with Aziz Zahara. Ella is mesmerized by his tale of Shams' research for Rumi and the dervish's role in transforming the successful but unhappy cleric into the committed mystic, passionate poet and the advocate of love. She is also taken with Shams' lessons, or rules, that offer insight to the ancient philosophy based on the unity of all people and religions, and the presence of love in each and every one of us. As she reads on, she realized that Rumi's story mirrors her own and that Zahara, like Shams, has come to set her free.